Hello, good evening, everyone. How was your day? I hope you can hear me right. You're welcome. How was your day? So, hello, good evening, everyone. I trust you are doing well. And we are sorry for starting the meeting late. It's network issues and connection issues. But finally, we are here. And we are going to look at something very interesting today. So, today we are going to look at migration refugees, and statelessness. All right, migration, refugees, and statelessness. Statelessness are the issues we are going to consider for today. Um, so this training is provided by the Institute of Global Peace and Conflict Management. If you have been on this training from the beginning and you have not shared the link of the training with anybody, like yesterday, Yipo did not share the link at all. You have to share the link, put it on your wall, invite someone to join, to participate, to be part of the training. So I'm encouraging all of us to do well to share, to invite others to also be part of the training. All right. Don't be selfish. It's free. So why can't you also share it freely? All right. Let them also be part of what is going on here. And thanks to those of you that have always, you know, have always shared. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We celebrate you. All right. Um, so do way to share the link, put it on your wall, and invite someone to be part of the training today. All right. So for peace and conflict management, examination is going to come up. The examination is coming up on the 15th. That's on Sunday. So if you are not been preparing, go through your notes and prepare for your exams. And then this human rights examination is coming up on the 30th, on the 31st, because we don't want to carry anything over to next year. Whatever we started this year must end this year, right? So your examination is going to come up on the 31st of December, and the examination will come up in the morning. So if you can get your certificate in the evening, so be it. But we must not carry over anything. So anybody that will delay to get the certificate this year, it's left for you. But try as much as possible as you can to get your examination will be maybe 30. We may even return it to 30th, and then 31st, you can get your certificate and all of that. But we're not carrying anything over. If you choose to carry over to get your certificate in the new year, so be it. All right. So by tomorrow or on Sunday, I will share the first batch of the manual with you so that you can start going through it. No problem. And then our online induction is coming up on the 30th of December as well. So if you want to be part of those that will be inducted online, kindly apply for it. Um, the application is still ongoing. So you can do it to apply to be inducted on the 30th of December. Whether you are from Nigeria or outside Nigeria, you can apply. All right. And so far, we have people from Kenya, Cameroon, Uganda that have applied. So you also can apply. All right. They have paid their fee, waiting to be inducted. All right. Um, let's look at something. We're looking at migration, refugees, and statelessness. So these are the topics, these are the issues that we're going to consider in today's training. People migrate for different reasons. Some migrate to look for greener pastures, some migrate for safety, some migrate for just for the purpose of looking for a new location, just for settlement and all of that. But there are several reasons. Some may be just because of relocation and all of that. They just want to migrate, change location. Some for job purposes, some for just um, resettlement. I just want to change my location and resettle somewhere. Some is because of um, safety, running away from conflict or persecution. And so people migrate for several reasons. And in this migration, some may become refugees. You understand? may become refugees. They may be affected and they become refugees. Some, as a result of several activities, may become stateless. That is, they have no state, they have no country they can call their own. You are in a place that is not your own, so you are a stateless person. Do you understand? So these are the issue we are going to look at here. So if you look at Bashar Assad now, is a refugee, and he has been given asylum in Russia. Do you understand? So both statelessness, refugees, and migration are some of the issues that we're having in our contemporary society. So, but let's look at refugees' rights under international law. Refugees' rights under what international law? Let's look at a definition of refugees. If we say someone is a refugee, what does that mean to you? Who is that person? A refugee. Who is a refugee? Refugee, as per the 1951 Refugee Convention, it refers to a refugee as a person who, owing to a well-founded fear of persecution for reasons of race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or political opinion, is outside their country of nationality and is unable or unwilling to avail themselves of its protection. Do you understand? So it's outside their country of nationality and is unable or unwilling to avail themselves of its protection. So that is the refugee. We have so many refugees today. There are some who run as a result of Boko Haram activities and take refuge in neighboring countries like Chad, like Niger, like Cameroon. Do you understand? Several people run and take refugees there as a result of Boko Haram activities that was going on in the northern part of the country. Do you understand? Some flee and run to this. I will talk about Assad now. Assad now is hiding in Russia. Do you understand? It's hiding in Russia as a result of conflict and all of that. He's running away for his life now because the situation have changed. It's not as it was then when he was in charge. Things have changed. You understand? So he himself is seeking asylum somewhere now, right? Why he caused millions of people to, some left their country into Lebanon, some into Iraq, and some into other neighboring countries like Turkey and all of that. Do you understand? So because Syria was, in conflict for several years. Since 2010, there has been conflict. So for the past 11 years or so, for 12 years, they have been experiencing conflict. So you can see several people ran out of their country, took refugees or take refuge in neighboring states or neighboring countries like Lebanon, as I mentioned. All right. So when you cross the border of your country to another country, you become a refugee. If you are still within the state where these things are happening, we'll call you internally displaced person. You understand? You are not a refugee, you are only an internally displaced person. Because what is happening to you, you may live or you may not be in your community. You may left your community, but you are still within the geographical locations of your country. then you are still an internally displaced person. But once you cross your country's border to another country, then automatically you become a refugee, correct? So key international legal instrument, key international legal instrument regarding refugees. 1951 Refugee Convention and its 1967 Protocol. Let's see. Core international treaties defining the rights of refugees and the obligation of states, all right? So now the convention also establishes principles of non-refoulement, that is prohibition on returning refugees to countries where they face persecution. So someone is facing a persecution in his country and he ran to your own country and then you want to take him back to the country where he's facing persecution is being prohibited, that you cannot take him back there. Yes, according to international treaties and conventions, you cannot take him back there. You understand? So that's why it is. So outlines basic rights, access to courts, education, work, and housing. So that's what the 1959 Refugee Convention and its 1967 Protocol were able to achieve. Outline basic rights such as the right to what? Courts, right to what? Education, right to work, and housing. You understand? Regional treaties. We had also regional treaties that help in, you know, defining what refugees are, and of course, the role of those organizations. So, African Union, that is Organization of African Union, as it was then in 1969, extends the definition of a refugee in Africa to include people fleeing external aggression or civil war. Some people run as a result of civil war in their own country, maybe a civil war against one community or the other, fighting free. You understand? So African Union also make provisions for such people. And then we talk about Cartagena Declarations. Cartagena Declarations in 1984 covers Latin American refugees and includes those fleeing generalized violence. So sometimes the violence may not be specific, it may be a generalized issue, or just have to run for your life. Maybe simply because you're a Christian, you have to run. Maybe simply because you're a Muslim, you have to run. Why? Because there are consequences. So let's look at fundamental refugees' rights. What are the fundamental refugees' rights? Right to seek asylum. So as a refugee, you have the right to seek or request for protection from another state, and that's what Bashar Assad is doing now. He has requested and he has been granted, right? And that is why he ran, flee to Russia to seek protection. You understand? So it's your right to ask for protection. Then we'll talk about the rights to non-refoulement, that is protection against forced return to a country where they face persecution. So once you leave the border of your country, you are not to be compelled to come back. You are not to be forced to come back. So nobody is going to go and bundle you and bring you back. You understand? Except if you constitute a threat to. the host country and the country. So let's look at access to what basic needs. Access to what basic needs. That is something like shelter, food, healthcare, and education. You have the rights to all of this. Access to what basic needs. So as a refugee, you have to be given food, you have to be given shelter. That's why you see most NGOs provided mobile shelters for people who are what who are experiencing this kind of persecution or some any of these challenges. Do you understand? So, but they need some of these basic needs to survive. And when you deny them this right, it's considered as criminal. Uh, it's war crime, right? It's considered as a war crime, and I think it's one of the reasons why Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, has been ordered to be arrested. Do you understand? So there's a warrant of arrest on his head. Do you understand? Because at some point he denied the entrance of food supplies to um, Gaza strips, and of course, it's being considered and counted against him as a war crime. All right. So because deny access, it means that more people will die. You understand? So basic needs must be given. So example, United Nations Human uh, Human Rights Commission or United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees rather ensure food distribution and medical care in refugee camps like Kakuma in Kenya. All right. And we have several of them. What is happening in Gaza now is they are there. In Lebanon, in the northern part of the country, they were there some. You understand? So freedom from discrimination. The convention also prohibits discrimination of refugees. All right. Refugees must be treated equally regardless of race, region, and, and origin. So it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter your religion, it doesn't matter what is your color. All right. What matters is that you should be treated what fairly. So challenges to refugees, right? What are the challenges? Are there challenges? Restrictive asylum policies, detention, and xenophobia are some of the challenges. All right. Restrictive asylum policies, and that's why some people they were given asylum or they were in some places, although maybe they did not seek for asylum there or whatever, they were bundled and taken back to their own country. You know, for example, refugees in Libya often face detention and abuse due to insufficient international enforcement. You understand? If we look at the borders of Spain and Morocco, you see how people are being, treated. Sometimes harsh treatment, sometimes just to discourage them from continuing with their journey. Sometimes stiffer measures are being put, harsh conditionalities, harsh treatment are being put forward for these refugees. Do you understand? Instead of protecting them. So there are challenges, all right? So let's look at statelessness and its impact on human rights. Statelessness and what its impact on human rights. So let's look at what is statelessness. When someone says someone is stateless, what does that mean? Stateless person means someone who is not considered a national by any state under its law. So, as defined by the 1954 Convention, relating to the status of a stateless person. So this kind of person, you know, a number of his rights are being denied because what? We don't know where you're coming from. We don't know whether you belong to anybody or belong to anywhere. So sometimes the right, the rights to receive protection, education, and any other thing sometimes are being limited. You understand? So what are the causes of statelessness? What makes someone to go or become stateless? One, discriminatory what laws, exclusion based on race, gender, or ethnicity make people fear make people to feel something special. But there's nothing special. But the rights of the refugees must be protected. But sometimes those rights are being denied to the point that they render these refugees in the state of what statelessness. You understand? For example, the Rohingyas Muslims in Myanmar are denied citizenship under the 1982 citizenship law. You understand? State secession or conflict. New countries forming or border shifting can leave group without nationalities. So let's look at some of the examples. The dissolution of the USSR rendered many individuals stateless. You understand? So many individuals at the Soviet Union dissolution, so many individuals were rendered stateless because they didn't belong to anyone. You understand? They didn't want to go to Yugoslavia or Yugoslavia or whatever his but they did not want to. So they became stateless. You understand? So the dissolution um, render some people stateless, right? So administrative barriers, lack of birth restriction can also be a problem, right? So be a problem. So UNICEF reports that over 230 million children worldwide lack birth certificates, and many of them don't have birth certificate. Do you understand? Because a good number of them were not born in the hospital, and the mother doesn't understand the importance of that. So it doesn't matter. So human rights violation faced by stateless persons, denial of education and employment, right? So the stateless people, you know, are being denied of these rights of education and employment. Do you understand? They are there, but nothing for them officially. So stateless individuals often cannot access schools or jobs. Stateless individuals often cannot access schools or jobs, right? You cannot go to school, you cannot get a job because you don't have anything to show that you belong to the particular state. I think a day before yesterday, I traveled to Makuda. When I was coming back, they said we should show our national ID card. I said I don't have. And then some people were showing why. Maybe they have been flying the road and that has been a norm. But for me, it was no, no, no. So stateless individuals often cannot access schools or jobs. Example, the Rohingya population in Bangladesh faces restriction access to education, all right? So lack of health care. Example, stateless persons in many countries are vulnerable to trafficking and forced labor. So let's go ahead. So sometimes these people, the restriction in terms of even healthcare, they cannot access the restriction on movement. Many stateless people cannot obtain passport or travel document. You understand? They cannot because they don't know where they're coming from. They don't know where they're going. And so, of course, they cannot even give them passport. They cannot give them visa. They cannot give them anything. It's being restricted. Risk of exploitation. Stateless individuals are vulnerable to trafficking and forced labor. They can be tracked. They can be forced into several issues. International legal frameworks. 1954 Convention relating to the status of stateless person provide basic rights for stateless individuals. 1961 Convention on the Reduction of Statelessness encouraged states to prevent statelessness by granting nationality, especially to children both on their soil. All right. Let's look at the role of nations in addressing migration crisis. National responsibility, protecting borders while ensuring rights. That's what Trump is doing. Trump said, I will build a wall to protect all those Mexicans from entering my country. Do you understand? You understand? So the war is going on and they are building it. He started his first thing, will not finish it. I think he will finish it this time. You understand? Protecting borders while ensuring what? Ensuring rights. So nations must balance sovereignty. Nations nations must balance sovereignty with their obligations under international law. All right. So that's what it is. So Germany accepted over 1 million Syrians refugees in 2015 despite public and political challenges. You can see the number of refugees that Germany accepted. That's what was happening in Syria from 2010. At some point, Germany took to themselves 1 million refugees. That's much, right? So providing refugee status determination. So governments must fairly assess asylum claims. All right. The US has a robust asylum system, but faces criticism for backlogs and detention conditions. You understand? So let's look at supporting refugees integration, education and employment opportunities. Example, Canada programs help refugees integrate through language training and job placement. All right, so refugees can be supported, they can be trained, they can also get help. You understand? So it's very important. So permanent resettlement programs. Example, Australia and New Zealand offer permanent residency to selected refugees, right? So either they can go and settle or they will be protected and at the right time they'll bring them back. So let's look at addressing. So the EU, so international cooperation. Let's look at international cooperation. Role of regional and global bodies like nations must collaborate through organizations like the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugee, European Union, and African Union to make sure that we achieve the result. So, example, the EU and Turkey agreement on 2016 aim to manage the influx of Syrian refugees into Europe. Do you understand? So this is what we're talking about here. Assad now has run to Russia, after so many years of trouble. Addressing root causes, conflict resolution and development aid. Nations can reduce migration by addressing the root causes of displacement. Challenges and criticism, anti-migrant sentiment, rise of nationality and xenophobia hinders refugee protection. All right. So, example, border wars such as the US-Mexico barrier reflect what restrictive policies. All right. So, lastly, what we're going to look at today is insufficient funding. Insufficient funding. Many host countries such as Lebanon and Jordan lack resources to adequately support large, refugees migration. Right. So many host countries, you know, don't have money to accommodate them because once you keep them, you have to be feeding them, taking care of them, right? Provide for their health care and all of that. So many countries don't have those kind of to accommodate them. You understand? So any question? Any question? Any question? I'm in your comment section. So I'm in the comment section. I want to look at your comment. Any question? So it seems there's no question, right? No observation. All right. So we'll see you tomorrow by 7 p.m. Please. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night rest.